Hello, welcome back to the Woodwork channel. Welcome back to the Press Box this week. I'm your host, George Edwards. We've got a new face, Eleanor, joining us for the pod. And we've got Ruby back as well. We're going to talk all things women's football, England's success at the Euros, and then we're going to talk about the sustainability of the game and whether teams may, in the end, be stand-alone. But we're going to come to you first, Eleanor, your first appearance on the pod. I just want you to give us a little flavour of your footballing knowledge, why you like football and who you support.
Well, I grew up in a household with all boys, dad, 3 brothers, so football was on the TV 24/7 pretty much. I hated it for a while, and then in the end I sort of thought I may as well just give in because I've got no choice anyway. But yeah, I first started watching Chelsea with my brother. One of my other brothers supports Arsenal, so it gets a little bit hectic in the household sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But I also have a season ticket at Ipswich. Been following them for about 5 years now, so yeah.
So you saw the good times, really. You didn't see the bad times.
No.
I went to Ipswich, I think 8 years ago for Forest away, and I think you guys got relegated. We finished 20th. It was a very dark season, so you've had some good times.
Yeah, it's been very good the last few years, except from last year. Weren't the greatest, but
well, let's keep it positive because something that has been good has been England's women over the last few years. Obviously, 2 back-to-back Euros wins, a World Cup final as well. Talk to us about this summer and how good it was, because even on these recent internationals, it felt like we were still on the high, really.
Yeah, I think you can even say maybe like the last 10 years, go from like 2015 when we finished 3rd in the World Cup, is when the proper like trajectory of the England women's side started. I mean, like, if you reel off their honours, you had 2015 we came 3rd in the World Cup. I am going to read this. 2019 we were 1st in the She Believes Cup. 2022 we won the Arnold Clark Cup and the Euros. 2023 we were 2nd in the World Cup, 1st in the Arnold Clark Cup, and 1st, and I'm going to butcher it, the Women's Finalimissa.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know what I'm talking about, but no one can say it. And then obviously we won the Euros last summer. Yeah, so I just think we've gone from like strength to strength to strength, and I just think that's so amazing to see. Like, at what point are they going to stop? It doesn't look like they're stopping anytime soon.
Yeah. How do you think they've got to that point then over the last... Obviously, they appointed Phil Neville, which was the first sort of maybe alignment to the men's game to maybe draw crowds in. Then they got Serena in, who was a name that I think everybody knew in football. So how have they got to this level?
I think just how Serena sort of got the whole team together is incredible. They're so like closely bonded, and I think that's just so important for any team to do well anywhere. She's a great leader. Yeah. And I love Serena.
No, honestly, I don't think you can underestimate either like the power of a home tournament and then winning it at the same time. I think that build up, like what I would do to go and relive that summer again, having the Euros on home soil and just having such like everyone was so positive. I think it's almost like with England, like how many times like we in a major tournament and we're like, oh, we're in a final but probably won't win it. Like the amount of conversations we have like that, to have a tournament where it was on our doorsteps and we all had such belief that we were going to win it, like it was so fun. And I think at the end of the day that's what football is and what it should be. It's fun. So I think that like we can't underestimate that in any way, shape or form of how powerful that was for fans and stuff.
I felt like that was the biggest turning point because I felt like that's where everybody who was a football fan, regardless of whether you supported men's or women's, Chelsea or Boreham Wood, I think everybody watched that final, saw something special and then looked to build on it. And then let's move on to the internationals that have just gone, obviously the Australia and the Brazil games. What were your thoughts watching them too? I know you didn't watch them all, but given what's came from them.
I think I loved our game against Australia, obviously minus the sad news about Michelle, but I think playing wise we did really, really well against the Matildas. I think Brazil are games that we should be winning. Like, obviously, we've just spoke about how amazing the side are and how many honours we have and stuff. We should be a team that are winning those games. Yeah. I think but it's also a very high standard that when we do lose a game, no matter how well we play, it's a disappointment for us. And we're like, well, it's not good enough, and what can we do? But for a side of our standard recently, I feel like we should have won that. Yeah. But there we go.
You mentioned Matilda's injury as well, and it's an ACL. We see ACLs a lot in football, in women's football especially, and we were talking about that off camera, and it's something that's been in the media a lot. But do you think there's a solution to that problem, or how can we try and eradicate it? Because it's clear that it's maybe getting out of hand back now.
Yeah, it's actually insane how many women footballers are doing their ACLs, and it's such a shame for Michelle as well. Like, she literally was, well, the young player of the tournament for the Euros, and now she's done this, and it's just like she needs to be getting that practice in, playing for England while she can, and I think she's going to be a massive star for England, and I just hope that obviously she recovers well, and we need her in the team. But like, I was quite surprised that we sort of lost to Brazil as well, because obviously we should be winning games like that, and especially getting the practice in games like this. You know, you're going to expect slip-ups, but I thought we were just going from strength to strength. But yeah, you know, it will happen, but hopefully we bounce back, and
Yeah, I mean, following off from Michelle, I mean, this October, not including other knee injuries, but ACLs alone, there's something like we've had 11 different players suffer them in October alone, which is crazy. Like, we shouldn't, I feel like we know the factors surrounding it. Everyone goes, oh, we need more research, we need more this or more that, but we know it's stuff like scheduling conflicts or footballing boots and stuff like that. It's the training. I had a really interesting conversation with someone once about how, compared to men players who, from the age of like 13, 14, if they're spotted as a talent, they're put through an academy, and those facilities, they'll have rehab from that age, or they'll have like different programs and strengthening stuff. Whereas women's, you see it more now, and it's starting to develop, which is what we need. But I think going back, maybe that was one of the biggest like factors for it. I don't know. But I think the longer we get into it, the less those factors are relevant. You know, we can't make those excuses forever. So I think the game's developed so much, so we know the factors, we know what we need to do, but nothing's changing. So at what point do those changes happen? Like, we can't talk about it forever, do you know what I mean? Which is frustrating.
No, definitely. I think, obviously, since the women's game's developed, it's come such a long way, but there's still a lot that needs to be happening. So, hopefully in the future.
And if we talk about the women's team, I feel like this is almost the pinnacle of it. And you look at the age of everybody that played in the final. I think Hannah was the youngest player, wasn't she, in goal at 24? And that, from what I've seen anyway, I think women get into their prime a bit later than maybe men do. I sort of think maybe 28 to 30. But the squad is sort of ageing. We've obviously got to three back-to-back finals. How do we make sure that this is only the beginning? And do you see signs in England, in both domestically and in the women's national team, that this is only the start and it's not the pinnacle?
I do, definitely. I think with players like Millie Bright, retired recently, and obviously she said like her main point of retiring was it's time for the new generation to come through and stuff like that, which it makes fans, I think, so sad, because obviously they were like the OG team that won it and won the original Euros, when I say original, 2022, but players like Lucy Bronze are players that I don't want to see leave the squad.
Yeah, no, Lucy's one of my favourite players.
When you think of England, you think of Lucy Bronze. But I think players like Katie Reid and Michelle, but they're injured. Yeah. Katie Reid went out in training camp, I think, before even the Brazil game. It was only a minor ankle injury, I want to say, but she went back to Arsenal. Yeah. So I think we have the talent and we have those young players, but it's making sure that they are given what they need and have the time and the calendar and stuff to actually rest and train properly to go into these games, because we're losing them like no one's business. So we have them, it's just what we do with them, I think, is crucial.
And also the sort of pinnacle interest that the women's team get, because as we mentioned, the home tournament brought everybody in, and then this summer I went to a festival, I went to Tramlines, and it was the weekend of the final, and I was watching Kasabian, but they paused Kasabian coming on and they put the football on, and everybody waiting for Kasabian watched England win the Euros. It was such a magical experience, but I thought, 3 or 4 years ago it wouldn't have been on the magnitude for that to happen. So how do we make sure that, because I feel like also we've pinnacleized in the attendance, like the WSL and BBC News released figures today that say that the attendance so far in the WSL has dropped compared to this time last year, and obviously on the back of a Euros win you're thinking this is the time where it's going to accelerate again, and it's almost like that home Euros win was such a big phenomenon, it's hard to replicate that. So how do we make sure that everybody's still as invested it is, and the women's game could keep growing off the pitch as well as on it?
I think just like promotion, obviously it amazes me how people still won't watch women's football even after the Euros and stuff like that. It's just like, after been disappointed by the men's team so much. It's like, it's actually refreshing to watch it. And like my nan, for instance, she hates football, but every time the Lionesses are playing, she's watching it. She's there, she's loving it. And it's like you can get into it so easily, I think, if people just gave it a chance. And I think like I got into women's football when I was living in Ipswich still, and I'd go and watch the Ipswich games. And after that, I'd sort of like, if they were televising them on like a Sunday morning, I'd watch them. It's just like, I don't get why people aren't watching it, because I mean it is refreshing to watch, like, and it is different. I think people just need to give it a chance and get into it.
Yeah. And how is it impacted like the attendance then? Because obviously you guys have been following women's football for the past 8 years or something. How has England's success impacted it domestically? Because I looked here, and Football Beyond Borders, which is a charity that looks at women's football, it says that 36% of girls are watching football more than ever. They feel they're actually connected to a football club. 36% of girls that they survey, which is a really high number. And I think even if you look at young boys, there's not that many young lads that be connected to a football team. So it's really peaked, and the attendance this year is 6,500 across the WSL, which obviously you take into account some teams like Man City and Arsenal have bigger stadiums compared to what other teams have. But how has that changed over the years?
I think it starts, as well as the national team do, I think it starts domestically with the leagues and the clubs. I think is where we're going to build on the like returning fans and stuff like that. I think you see clubs like Arsenal, and I say this not being biased as an Arsenal fan, but I think if you look in terms of attendances and the marketing that the club does over the last 10 years, because they've not just started doing this over the last year or so, Arsenal are one of the front runners in building a continuous attendance. And, they've spoken out and they've said, they might not get 60,000 every week, but that doesn't matter for them, and that they're happy with the fans that they have, and they would rather have 28,000 returning fans week after week than have 60,000 one week and then drop back down again. So I think it starts with the clubs and things like that. I think, we're seeing Everton do it with their stadium move and stuff. So many clubs are kind of following suit, but I think we have to start there. We have to start domestically. We have to start, not going for 60,000 week in, week out. Even Chelsea are doing, I think, 4 of their WSL games are at Stamford Bridge. I mean, that may not be 100% true. It might be a couple more, but 4 of the WSL games are at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal have done every WSL game at the Emirates Stadium. Everton are trying to follow suit in their new stadium after the men's move. I think that's where we're going to start to see it grow more now. And I think that's just been slowly trickling down from over like the last 10 years or so.
Yeah. And there's sort of 2 arguments, I think, as well. There's the argument that people think that football clubs should be together and, like you say, promoting playing at the same stadium, investing in with similar sponsors, things like that. And then there's the other ones that, or there's a viewpoint that, about London City, who are a standalone club, and that women's teams should maybe try and be their own thing and their own identity. So do you think there should be a balance, or do you think one of them is the right way to go?
I think, obviously, Arsenal women's attendance is like one of the highest. I think that is due to the help of the men's team as well, because they're, like they've done like media days together as well. Like, not a lot of men and women's football clubs do that.
I do love that though. I love seeing them together. I think it's
exactly,
fun.
because they are the same team at the end of the day. I think it is massively down to that as well. And obviously my brother's an Arsenal fan. He's gone to the women's games that have been at the Emirates as well. And I think football teams should sort of have the men's help, if you know what I mean. Like, and I know there's a Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge. I think it's Barcelona in Champions League that I'm going to. I think games like that should be at the men's stadium. Yeah. And I think if more of them were at big stadiums, more people would go. Because, I mean, if you're travelling all that way to go to a stadium that's basically just like, looks like a little tiny muddy pitch, basically. And it's just like, it does put you off, and I understand that. But if it's at like a big stadium, of course, people are going to want to go more. Yeah.
And Arsenal have got 17,000, I think, home memberships. I don't know if that's season tickets or just members, but Meadow Park held like 5,000. So that's already a sort of growth. And I've also seen that the WSL is going into like Football Manager next year. So it's diversifying across the board with branding as well. So how important is the branding side as well as the sort of pushing it to the fan side?
I think that's massive though, and I think not disagreeing, because I love seeing like men and women's teams together, but I think when you look at clubs, for example, like London City, 100% of their budget and their resources go onto their women's team. So their whole identity is their women's team. They're not sharing it, they're not having to consider almost like different demographics of fans for their men's team versus their women's team, which is massive. And I think you do see the benefit of that as well. Yeah. I mean, London City are fairly like young, maybe, for a football club. They've been around like 6-7 years, which in footballing terms is like a baby. But over that time already, like what we've seen them do with their brand, where they've gone from different ownerships. Obviously, they were with Diane 2019 to 2022, I want to say, and then obviously Michelle Kang took over. Even just the change in that, like their brand of management and their culture, their identity, their like public mission of what they want to be doing and saying and changing in the women's game has changed so drastically. And that's almost what has pulled in most of their fans, I want to say. Because like I said, 6 years, no one was born a London City fan unless you're 6 or 7 years old, right? So all the fans that they have obviously looked at them, seen something in their marketing or their players, something that they've put out and gone, I like that, or like I want to be part of that. And that's how they've grown their fan base. And they get attendances. I think their record attendance at their home ground is 24,000, maybe a couple a little bit higher, but it's around that, which is a really decent amount for a club like that. So I think you can't underestimate a club's culture and marketing and stuff like that. I think it's massive.
I think the biggest thing that the Lionesses win did is sort of build the bridges, because there was a period, I think, between men and women's football, there was like a toxicity with people debating about equal pay and things like that, whereas I think now we're almost past them problems and people are just focusing on how refreshing it is to have this new entity that people can buy into and the whole different atmosphere. So I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert and I watch women's football all the time, but I really like the connection that is now between the two sports. So have you got any closing thoughts based on what we've talked about before we get onto the quiz?
No, I think it's like women's football has grown massively, and I think that is partly due to obviously the success at the Euros. But yeah, I mean, I'm loving how it's developing. Yeah. And I'm excited to see it develop like even more. And I don't know if it will ever be as big as the men's game is, but if it is, I mean, that would be just brilliant.
Yeah. I think you can't say where it's going to stop, which is so exciting. Yeah. I think I love that. I think we'll probably see more clubs like London City be independent and stand alone. I think based on the next maybe season or two about how London City do, I think we might see more teams like that, which I think is exciting. Yeah. I think we are different from the men's game, and that's a strength, that it's, you know, something we should be proud of and talking about more, rather than trying to like compare and be like, oh well, we are like the men's. Do you know what I mean? It's one club and it's one identity, but we have so many strengths that are unique to us, which I just think is so exciting to watch.
And Brazil's the next World Cup, isn't it?
It is.
How are we going to get on? Are we going to get that second star?
Hope so.
We should do. We should do. I hope so.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope so. But I think, and I also think it's interesting though to see like fan culture and like fans that travel out and go to the tournaments. I think it's so, once again, it's fun. Yeah. Right, which like sounds like such like an underwhelming adjective to use, but it is. It's just fun, and everyone's so happy, and everyone loves it, and the community is amazing. So I'm actually super excited for that tournament.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed the discussion. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to do a quiz about this summer's Euros. So I hope you guys were paying attention. Hello, welcome back to the Press Box. It's now time to see if these guys were watching over summer, because we've got a quiz all about Euro 2025. How are you feeling ahead of this one, guys?
Yeah, my like on the spot pressure isn't great for quizzes. So
just forget the cameras. The cameras aren't here. We're just in a cafe. Who would like to go first?
I'll try.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Question 1: what were the dates of the tournament? The sort of final section, not all the qualifiers, but what were the dates for the tournament?
In July, weren't they?
I'll give you a day leeway either way.
What is it, like all of them?
So when was the first game and when was the final? So like the dates of the start and the end.
I don't know why, but the 22nd is screaming at me for some reason for the final.
Of
July.
Yeah. And the start?
Oh, I'm going to say, like, quite early, like the 4th, 3rd. Or go the 3rd.
Okay, I'll give you 1 point for one of them. I won't reveal which one. I'll let you have a stab as well, Ruby.
Was the final the 28th? I feel like, I don't know why that's in my head, but I'm saying the 28th.
And what are you saying for the start?
The start? Yeah, I'm probably with you on that. 3rd, 4th? 4th.
Okay, so
my...
I'm going to give you 2 and you 1. The start was the 2nd of July.
Oh.
The final was the 27th.
Oh.
So
okay.
that's a good effort, to be fair. That's
fair
a good
enough.
effort. Number 2. Which team reached the quarterfinals of the Women's Euros for the first time?
For the first time?
Yeah. So it was the first time they were in the quarterfinals of the Women's Euros.
Is it France?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, for the first time, yeah.
That's incorrect.
Oh, no.
You got another one?
no
Ellen?
idea.
Like, damn.
Do you know who got to the quarterfinal? And then could you work backwards? Could you think about who's in the quarterfinals?
Well, it was in
Switzerland,
wasn't it? But they...
I feel like they were out earlier.
Yeah, that's what I think. Oh.
And then the other country in my head is Netherlands, but they've won it.
Yeah,
so that's
that's
not
the
going to be
thing.
for the first time.
I don't know. Italy.
Should have gone with Switzerland.
Switzerland, was it?
Yeah,
no.
Switzerland.
I swear they were out earlier.
So did I. I thought they were gone.
Well, I just make a reference. This is not my quiz, so if anything's incorrect, don't at me. So apparently that's Switzerland. Okay, which match, Eleanor, was in Euro 2025 equalled the record for the most goals in a finals tournament match? To give you a clue, there was 8 goals in the game.
Oh my goodness. Only game I can think about off the top of my head that had loads of goals with Wales-England, but that was only 6-1.
I know this. I actually read this earlier.
Oh, that's putting the pressure on.
God, I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm just going to have to go England-Wales, which I know is wrong.
That is wrong, yeah. Have we got the answer?
Oh.
Don't doubt yourself.
Because before you said 8-0, I was like, it was 8 goals.
8 goals, yes. Not necessarily
Not
8-0.
8-0, but 8 goals.
It was 8
the
goals,
record.
yeah. And the record still is 8 goals. It only equalled the record.
I feel like it was quite like it wasn't like one of like the top 3 countries in the ranking.
Yeah.
I have to push you for an answer.
Netherlands, but that's wrong.
No. Do you know what it was now? Spain 6, Belgium 2.
Ooh.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. To the nearest... is this your one?
Mine, yeah.
To the nearest 1,000, how many overall spectators were across all of the Euro 2025 games?
What, together or like the record for one game?
Yeah, together. So overall of all the games across the tournament, what was the overall number of spectators?
This is maths is my...
So I'm giving you 10,000 leeway here.
This could be literally anything.
Yeah,
Anyone who
it's
knows
a stab
me
in the
with
dark,
numbers
really, to be
is
fair.
laughing at me so hard right now. Go 10,000 leeway.
Yes.
250,000.
Do you think it's more or less than that? I don't know.
That was exactly what I would have said.
Right, okay. If that's what you both say, I'm going to not give you both a point because it's 657,000.
Wow, I was so off.
Oh my goodness. That's great though.
I do remember this, so I would have got one here, so I'm hoping you guys get this one.
No pressure.
Who scored England's first goal of the tournament?
This is your question.
Yeah.
First goal.
Against France.
Oh, we lost that game. Oh, I want to say Lauren James. Was it Lauren James?
Is that, are we locking it in?
Yeah,
or?
Lauren James.
No,
This is the most unsure quiz you've ever hosted. We're like, is it? Maybe?
it is not.
Is it Alessia Russo?
Kira Walsh.
Kira. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
And Lauren scored in the second game. I remember that now.
Right, question 6. Who did England beat in the final of the Euro 2025? And what was the penalty shootout score?
Is that serious?
I've not wrote the questions. That is your
my
question, Ruby. Yeah.
It was Spain.
Yeah.
Penalties were 3-1.
Yeah. And what was the score in the game?
Oh, 2-1. Was it 2-1?
1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you the point. That's quite an easy question.
I
to
was
be
like,
fair.
penalties the whole game.
Okay,
Oh no.
The fact he's
God's
laughing
sake.
does nothing for us.
number 7. What was the name of the stadium that the final was held at?
Oh,
That's
good luck.
harsh.
How on earth am I even
Was
meant
the
to?
final in Zurich?
No,
I feel like,
no, it was in Basel.
great.
So if you know
Good
the
luck.
stadium in Basel, then no.
No clue.
Don't even come
Okay,
looking
St
at me.
Jakob Park. It was called.
St. Jakob Park.
Right, scores 3-1. So you've got a
Oof.
bit to go, Eleanor. But at least you've got one on the board. Okay, number 8. Who was the top scorer of the Women's Euros, winning the Golden Boot, and how many goals did she score?
That's really something I should know. And I don't. I know who the... I'm trying to go through the different, like, individual awards at the end. Michelle got Young Player. Is it...
Oh, it's so annoying.
Was it an
Maybe.
England player?
No. That was going to be a clue. It doesn't have to
I
be
was
an
about to
England
go,
player.
it's not an England player.
No. There you go. I'll give you both a clue.
Oh, I know it.
Dear. Oh, here's the pressure.
I feel like it's a Spanish player.
I'm not giving you
Damn.
clues. I'm looking at the
I
camera.
was trying to be like, can you, like, anything?
You're winning, so you don't need any clues.
No, go for it if you know it.
It was Bonmati. Oh, how many goals she scored? Oh, I know Spain scored like, is it 16 or 18 overall? I'm gonna go with like 7.
Okay, it was Esther Gonzalez with 4.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
can't believe Bonmati didn't get that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I swear it was Bonmati.
I have looked at it here and he is right.
You're like, I
Oh.
fact checked.
Yeah, I've quickly fact checked. Yeah, Bonmati.
The fact you're scrolling that much
Yeah.
shocks me.
Patelius got second, but
Yeah.
I don't think Bonmati's on here, to be honest.
Oh my gosh, what have
So-
I
It's
been
because
looking
of
at?
how many times she's won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah. Okay, number. I think we're on 10 now. Who was named? Whose question is it? It's
Yours.
Eleanor's,
Yeah.
yeah. Who was named Young Player of the Tournament?
Oh,
Oh,
Michelle-
we've said this.
Michelle. Aji Bang. Is that how you
Yeah.
say her last
Well,
name?
it's about time you got quite an easy
Yeah,
one. So.
I know.
Okay, we've got 6 to go, I think, or 7 to go. So let's see.
help us.
3-2.
Yeah.
How many venues/cities across Switzerland hosted matches? So how many host cities were there? Or different stadiums?
5?
That's wrong.
I'm gonna go with 8.
Spot on, to be
Was
fair.
it?
Give you credit where credit's due. 8 is exactly right. Well done. Scores are level. Right, number 12. What country made its first appearance at the Euros in 2025? Providing there was only one. Like I say, I didn't write the questions. I think
I
I'm
know
pretty sure.
this.
I'm pretty sure I heard this as well though around the time.
Oh, was it Wales? Was it like the first time that they'd qualified?
It
or
was
something?
Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
I
Into the
didn't know
lead. Right at the death. So we've got 3 questions left. Have we? Oh no, this is the last one.
No,
Oh, great.
And then the tiebreaker. So you've got to get this to go to the
Oh,
tiebreaker.
gosh.
What was the tournament count / like edition of the Women's Euro? So how many? Yeah, this was the something version of the event. How many has been before? of the Women's Euros?
Why am I getting the maths ones? Hold on. Give me a minute.
Do you know when the first one was?
1984?
So can you count how many that was?
I think. Was it 1980?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was.
I think it was 1984.
In the meantime.
Yeah, can we just we'll cut this bit out, bear with. No, because now I've lost count because I've started, wait. Go 10.
If you don't get it right, after all that counting.
Yeah, because I gave up counting.
Okay, do you want to give me an answer, Ellen, and I'll give it to the closest?
It's going to be more than 10. 15.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Are we keeping 10? Are we changing?
15.
15 you're going with? Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with 18.
Okay, it is 14.
Oh, no.
So that
glad
late
I didn't.
swoop means it's a draw, which means we've got one question to tie break. So it's the first, just shout your answer out, the first to get it, okay? The final of the Women's Euro 2025 went to a penalty shootout. When was the last final that was decided by a penalty shootout prior to that?
Wasn't it the previous Euros? No, it wasn't
No,
actually.
the one
because
before
Chloe
that,
Kelly won
28.
it last. Oh goodness.
When was the one before that? 2018?
Yeah.
So give me a year and we'll go closest to then.
2018.
That's what I would have said. 2014.
Okay, it's only happened once before in history, and it was the first one, 1984.
Oh my god!
So you're a bit wrong there. That's a last gasp win for Eleanor. So
yay!
Well done on your pod debut.
Yeah,
you've got the win.
Just about.
Well done. So I don't think these guys were really watching during the Euros, but you got more than I would have.
That
so
was an art.
That's a win.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break, and then we're going to look at some more news topics to round off. Hello, welcome back to the press box. We've got a new face alongside me, Nardo, joining us. So I'll come to you. Your first appearance on the pod. Talk to us about why you like football and who you support. This is why you're on, really.
I support Nottingham Forest, like George. Just been in a household of me and my brother, my dad and my mum. Just took to my first Forest game at 6, and then I just didn't stop since.
Okay, we could talk about this all day, but I'm sure that's probably not what the viewers want to see. So let's get into our news topic. So we're going to do some weekend predictions first, in a second. But first, I want to talk about the FA Cup, and it's back. But I feel like nobody's really talking about it. I went on BBC website and it's like 5th down the list, 6th down the list. And for me, it's done so well over the last few years because everybody was talking about it. Even from the early rounds, there was so much behind it. It was on BBC and ITV, and I just felt like it was at the best place I'd ever experienced it. And then I was gutted when it was announced. I think it was last year that it was going back on TNT. And, you know, I've seen some of the matches. I think there's only 2, I might be wrong, that are on BBC. And all the rest are on TNT, the Monday night one, the Friday night one, the Sunday afternoon one. And I just feel like it's really limiting the FA Cup's growth, and it was in such a good place. So I don't know if anyone's got any other thoughts about it, but I mean, I've not heard really the FA Cup's going on if I didn't look at FOTMob.
No. I mean, from being more a women's football fan rather than like a fan of the Premier League and stuff like that, if it's not massively accessible or on Sky Sports or something, if it's for a subscription like TNT that I don't have, personally, I'm not going to go and pay to watch those 2 games for the FA Cup. And I love the FA Cup, but for me, that's just not something I'm going to go and do. No. So I definitely think it limits it for people.
Yeah. And like you say, people pay Sky to watch the Premier League and stuff like that. Nobody's going to pay for TNT just to watch the FA Cup, but because it was on ITV and BBC for the last 3 or 4 years, everybody did it, and I think everybody was invested from the first round. Whereas now, you're only going to get really supporters of the clubs until we get to the semi-final and the final, and then they're on. I think the final must have to be on BBC, and they'll probably have one semi-final, and that's when people will switch onto it. But I just feel like it's had so much progress over the last few years, and I really am worried that this move's just going to kill it. But we're going to come on to some weekend predictions then. So we're talking on Friday afternoon. This will go out Saturday morning. So we're going to have 2 games each that we're going to predict, and then we'll see how it goes. So Eleanor, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so obviously Ipswich fan, I'm going to predict QPR Ipswich. I'm hoping and praying that Ipswich get the win. I reckon it will be a 2-1 Ipswich. And the other one I'm going to do is Bristol Stoke. They're very close to each other. I think there's only 1 point between them. So I reckon that's going to be a draw. I'm going to go over 2-2.
Can you see one of them teams falling off though? Because it feels weird them both
Yeah.
being up there. Let
I mean,
alone,
they're both
one of them.
well, a bit sort of like hit and miss at the minute. They'll do good and then they sort of lose a few games and then they'll bring it back. So I mean, I don't know who it's going to be, but I think Stoke seem quite confident, a lot more confident than they have been. So yeah, I reckon if either of them are going to succeed, I reckon it'll be Stoke.
And Ipswich beating QPR, is that just what you're hoping for, or have you seen something you actually can believe that that's what will happen?
I'm hoping. I think hopefully we'll have some of our key players coming back soon. Obviously Wes Burns, he did his ACL. I'm pretty sure it was his ACL. We need him back, but he's now sort of coming back into training. Harry Clark as well, he's back in training, so hopefully we'll be seeing them soon. But yeah, no, I think the team has sort of gelled now, because it wasn't the greatest start of the season. But I think we had so many key players leaving. Like we had our captain Morsey leave, and he's been at the club for I think the last 5 years. We had like Liam Delap leave, he was key for us, and Murray Hutchinson obviously went to Forest. So yeah, and we had so many new players come in, but now I think hopefully we've all gelled and we're actually a proper team now.
Yeah. Perfect. Ruby, on to your 2 games.
So I'm going to predict London City and Chelsea. Obviously Chelsea are at home at Stamford Bridge. I think it's going to be a 3-1, maybe, to Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think London City will score. I think players maybe like Izzy Goodwin will kind of reach the back of the net for them. I just think she's unstoppable in like every game. But Chelsea are Chelsea, and as much as I hate to say it, you can't, especially against teams like that. You know, London City are kind of mid-table. Chelsea are obviously top of the WSL. I don't think you can claim that they're not going to win a game like that. And then also on Saturday, it is Man City and West Ham. West Ham are struggling for points and goals. They're at the bottom of the table. I feel like it's where we see West Ham maybe a lot every season, just down that end of the table. So I think maybe a 2-0. Man City even are just so strong defensively, like home and away. Like they're almost a bit of a Chelsea team at the top of the table. They're just following Chelsea in points. You can't claim that they're not going to beat West Ham either. So I think it's going to be a good weekend if you're a Chelsea or Man City fan.
But if we were going to see an upset, do you think it's more likely at Stamford Bridge then?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll be there as well, won't you?
I will. I think, if anything, London City could maybe shock them. I think there was a story on it on BBC this morning actually, but Sonia and Jocelyn, the 2 managers, have both kind of played each other before, obviously, in Lyon and under Michelle Kang. So they both know each other fairly well in terms of tactics and how each other's thinks and stuff. So I think if there was to be an upset, I think London City would maybe pull the rug out from Chelsea a little bit. Maybe not enough to win it, but maybe a draw or close to draw, or just kind of pushing them right to the end.
Yeah. A competitive performance.
Yeah.
Okay. Nardo, what do you?
I'm going to go with the FA Cup games. I'll pick Western-super-Mare versus Aldershot first. I don't really know too much about either of them, but it's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
I think Aldershot will win.
Yeah.
League above. I don't really know anything about Western-super-Mare, but I don't think they're doing too bad.
It's a nice seaside town.
Yeah. Got quite a cool badge as well. But I think Aldershot will win that one. 2-1 maybe. 2-1. Yeah, and then the other one will be Brackley Town versus Notts County. And I think that'll be closer because Brackley Town, I think top of National League or top 2.
I think they're mid-table, yeah.
Are they?
I think they're about 17th actually, but they got promoted last season anyway.
But then County away from home, I think County will win, but I think it'll be close. I think 3-1 County.
How fun it would be if they didn't though, from 2 Forest fans.
Yeah, no, I'm supporting Brackley.
Okay, on to mine. I'm going to do one from the Premier League, one from the Championship. Starting with the Championship, Sheffield United against Derby. I think me and him are just using our sort of rivals here. Not that Notts are really rivals, but I think Derby away from home have been pretty poor all season, which is music to my ears. Sheffield United, obviously, it's well documented. They've not been really great all season anywhere, but I think you're starting to see performances under Wilder, and they're sort of translating through results, and they're still getting narrow defeats, narrow victories. I think this might be the time where they get their sort of 2-0, 3-1 comfortable victory, and it might kickstart them, because I think looking at Sheffield United, with Wilder in the door, with the players that he's worked with over the last few years, nobody really sees them staying in the position they're in, and they finished third last year under him with a very similar squad of players. So I think this might be the result to get them back under, going the right foot and on their way. And then I'm going to do City Bournemouth because I think it's going to be a top game. Honestly, we saw Bournemouth last week and they're so well drilled, so well organised. But they just don't seem to travel to Man City very well, and that's what, Forest never seem to travel to Bournemouth well. We just get pasted. I think they never really seem to go to the Etihad very well. So I think it'll be a very good game. Bournemouth might even take the lead, but I'm going to go for City to just edge it. So I'm going to go Sheffield United 3, Derby 1, and Man City 2, Bournemouth 1. Okay, I think that's it for this week's pod. Thank you to our two new faces and Ruby again. These guys will be back next week. I am abroad watching Forest probably lose in the Europa League to Sturm Graz. But thank you for watching. If you like the video, make sure you click like, hit subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload. There'll be another podcast next week. But until then, thanks for watching and goodbye.